You're watching Money 9. I'm Sakshi Batra, and this is the show where we talk all about markets and how to really approach markets when they are hovering near all time high levels. Come what may, beat the power crisis, the energy crisis, or any kind of pulling of the triggers or liquidity by global banks. Or there is nothing absolutely that is deterring this bull rally at all. So, how should you be really approaching this market? And that's the focus going to be of this show. Joining in is a very special guest with me. I have with me Mr. Vivek Mashrani, who's the founder of Technofunda Investing, on this edition of Market Masterclass. Thank you very much, Mr. Mashrani, for taking out time for us. Always a pleasure having you with us. Well, the stock markets have yet again surprised us with that 18,000 mark being clocked in on the Nifty in a very short span of time. How many more milestones do you really anticipate the markets to touch in this year?
I think all the time we are meeting its new all-time high. So I think if we keep meeting, I think it will be new all-time highs. But having said that, thank you for having me here. And the market is really looking strong. I don't know how many times it will be, but it is like just still 2 more months, and the strength is really there in the market. And if you see, some of the sectors are also getting benefited due to a lot of different things. So I'm hoping it will continue. And let's see, I think we should do this more often, and it will keep hitting 22,000 also. You never know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Fingers crossed for that one. But just like how I was pointing out in my initial comments, that come what may, this bull run is not going to be stopped by anything of any kind of disruptions in the power space, in the energy space, any kind of crisis emerging. Of course, we crossed over the biggest hurdle of COVID-19 pandemic, the first wave and the second wave. Thankfully, the third wave hasn't come. But all the triggers that right now we are faced with, be it the kind of signs of pulling off the liquidity finally and easing and rate hikes coming in forward. How do you think that the markets are able to overcome any of these hurdles, which supposedly could have become any kind of big impediments?
Right. So these are the signs of a typical bull market. When things are euphoric, anything cannot stop it. And when things are
Yes.
bad in the bear market, even the good news cannot pull it up. Right. So
Yes.
it's basically that strength which is coming up, and there is a lot of liquidity, as you rightly said, and the kind of money that has been pumped in across the world, after the
Right.
pandemic has been huge. Was reading some statistics, around like 40% of the money printed from US, that was just in last year. So entire
Mm.
money printed by US, the 40% was just in last year. So that is the kind of liquidity that is getting pumped in, and that is seen across asset classes, not even just equity. A lot of other asset classes are also increasing. So I think the strength is there. Having said that, it's time to also be more cautious and more managing the risk, and knowing what you need to do if a scenario occurs and then there is a fall that occurs, right? So you need to be prepared all the time in these kind of scenarios. We need to be more cautious, I would say.
Absolutely, time to be more cautious, more selective, perhaps in this kind of market, which is constantly running up and up. So, I also wanted to talk a little bit more on the earning season, which has just started, and we have seen that the TCS numbers were not very taken very positively by the street. They disappointed the street in a way, and then we'll be, of course, looking at the other IT space stocks too. What is the right way to look at this sector? This sector has been the darling of the street so far in the last 1.5 years. I don't think anybody is really questioning that the relevance of IT post pandemic has reduced in any way. But the debate is whether valuations are stretched and future returns have to be diluted given the recent run up. How would you be really looking at this space, sir?
Yeah, so in general, whenever there are sector tailwinds, this is the kind of scenario that plays out in IT. Also, there has been a lot of sector tailwinds. If you see, people are working from home. There has been a lot of cost saving. There are new RFPs which are floating across the globe, and we are receiving a lot of good order traction across the company. Specifically,
Yes.
mid-cap IT companies has been in the flavor, and it has been happening since last year, right? So the tailwinds are there, the earnings are coming through. Of course, TCS was a bit of disappointment, and that is one angle to look at also, that the kind of money that is being pumped in and the salary hikes that are given to the employees. I've seen like some of the friends and near ones who are in the IT sector, they've gone as high as like 80 to 100% kind of hikes, which is like unheard of. And even the freshers, they get like offer, and then by the time they are joining, they are getting like 30% hike, and they go to another
Sure.
company, right? So these are the kind of ground level insights we are getting. So of course somewhere that will hit the margin pressure also, and the margins will also go down. It will not stay the same how it is right now. But having said that, if the sales growth continues, I think there is long runway to go, and it is a more of a structural sector. So in short term, yes, there could be some blips, and there could be some signs of margin compression. But overall, I think the sector tailwinds are really strong, and it's working in the favor of the IT industry after a long, long period of time.
Absolutely, sir. Especially talking about the earnings season, I wanted to, ask you if you could share any tips or insights with all our viewers as to how to approach any earnings season, be it the current or future earnings that we will continue to see, and how should one really select stocks amidst this kind of a move, and what are the things to look out for?
Right. So I'll break this down into two parts. One part is in terms of the existing company which people might be having in their portfolio.
Yeah.
So I generally prefer that at least once a quarter you should monitor the company in your portfolio, and the result season is the best time where you should look at what is your earnings growth, whether it is going in line with what you thought,
Hmm.
and whether the company is performing as you expected. So you should do that check every quarter, particularly when the earnings are coming up. For the people who want to find new companies and sectors where the future growth could be coming, and that is where you can see again earnings report and see where the potential growth can come in. The
Yeah.
idea is twofold. You can basically create a filter in terms of what all sectors are having good tailwinds, and the way to
Hmm.
look at it is, one, I basically blend technicals and fundamentals. So I see the price volume action, which generally comes slightly ahead of results, because market discounts all these things much faster, and you will
Hmm.
see the pattern that in one particular sector so many companies are showing that kind of price volume action. And
Yes.
followed by that, you can monitor the earnings of that particular sector, and if you feel that majority of the companies in that sector are coming out with very good earnings, that shows you that that sector is having some tailwinds and having some strength. And
Hmm.
then you filter down that from that sector. Suppose I have like five companies which I'm seeing and the earnings are good. Out of those five companies, what are those one or two market leaders or strong companies which I can pick up? And that is where the relative analysis can come in, and you see different companies where they are catering to, which geography they are catering to, what is their product mix, and what are their future revenue growths. As a thumb rule, what I prefer is any company which can double their earnings in at least 3 years.
Yeah.
So if in 3 years I can see 2x kind of earnings, that is where I put money for a long term investing. Short term, it could be some momentum that is picking in, some sector which is coming in. That is where it could be your tracking position or just a short term play. But a long term, 3 years, 2x is the kind of earnings you should see. And that is where reading the con calls, earnings commentary will help a lot in determining that.
Well, absolutely. Those are valuable tips, and I'm hoping that all the investors are noting them down because we are amidst this earnings season, and we are already seeing that some of the stocks which are getting impacted or are seeing any kind of move, it is based on the earnings. And we've always seen that the markets are or heard that markets are a slave of earnings. So keep that in mind, and in this space, you may get a lot of investment opportunities. Keeping these points in mind too. Apart from this, I also wanted to ask you, sir, so far in the last 1.5 years of investment or the bull run that we've already seen, of course, at these record high levels, a whole lot of investors are sitting on very good, substantial profits at this point. But what is confusing them is right now is to whether book out, stay out of the market at this point in time, and wait for deeper corrections and then re-enter. How should one really decide how much of a profit is good enough? Is there any rule, or is there any percentage of return that they should go by, that okay, if my stock has doubled in money, then I'm fine, and I should just take that back, because it will be easier for investors to really understand how to understand when to book profits.
Correct. So yeah, this is like a very, very critical dilemma, and most of the investors face it. I would
Yeah.
say, it is very futile effort to time the market. I know investors who thought 14,000 is a, too much high kind of level. They booked out in cash and they are now sitting in cash, hoping that it again comes back to at least 14,000, and they've wasted this entire rally. So, and same way, somebody could think at 16,000, and right now also, if we think that, okay, I need to cash out and it can go very well to 20, 22,000, we never know.
Yeah.
So the idea is, first, never cash out 100%, because if that happens, it is very, very painful, difficult psychologically to get back into the market at whatever
Mm.
levels. And when the fall happens, we start thinking that up to 12,000 it will go. Now it will go to 10,000. Let me wait more. Let me wait more, and then that bottom also doesn't become fruitful to enter again back. So the idea is, don't try to time the market, stay invested. And having said that, have kind of trailing exits for your positions. So what I
Mm.
generally prefer is, rather than thinking where I can find top, I let the top happen, and once that top happens and starts coming down, that is where you trail exit and get out of the position if it's required. And again,
Right.
in the portfolio structure, what I prefer is, I have two parts to it. So I have 70%, which is like core portfolio, which is like
Mm.
more long-term play, 5, 10, 15 years until the company keeps compounding. And
Okay.
30% is what I call as a satellite play, which is where more of a positional kind of plays are there, where I know I'll not hold it for like 5, 10 years, but until it keeps playing like for 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, I'm ready to hold it. And that is where it creates a dynamic cash or hedge position. So when the market is moving up in my favor, it will continue to go up. And when there is some problem or there is some correction, this 30% will automatically go into the cash, and that cash you can actually use it to deploy when there is a correction. So you can have this kind of dynamic cash kind of model, so you don't miss out on the rally. And if the fall happens, your trailing exit starts coming out, and you can take advantage of that fall also.
Well, that's a well taken point, well taken, and I hope all the investors are really taking all these points as they go forward to understanding, whether it is time for them to partially book or fully book out their profits at this current stage in time. Let me now bring out some interesting, topics of discussion. And I actually was going through your Twitter feed, sir, and you recently asked your followers on Twitter that if there is one stock that you're allowed to add to your portfolio. That is only one stock if you're allowed to add. Which company would that be? So if I were to ask you, what was the highest, named stock, if at all, in your Twitter feed, and which is your personal favorite as a highest conviction bet?
Yeah, so on Twitter feed, I got a lot of different answers, starting
Yeah.
from Asian Paints, IRCTC, Pidilite. We had companies like MSTC, all these kind of names came in.
Right.
Personally, for me, this is again, both these stocks are in my existing portfolio, so that is just a disclosure. So
Yeah.
I like two companies, not just one, but IEX and the NGL Finechem are two my high conviction bets as of now. And
Okay.
the things are moving in right direction. If you've seen the
Yeah.
announcements with respect to the power sector, and a lot of long-term contracts that are shifting, I think that will go long way for IEX. And as of now, all the things and thesis which I thought will play out, it's playing out. So I'm really hopeful that in next few years also it will create a lot of wealth. Having
Okay.
said that, again, I monitor the company very closely, and
Yeah.
again, to disclose, I'm holding this from much lower levels. So like
Yeah.
NGL Finechem, I'm holding from 400 levels, it is 2,800 somewhere, and IEX I'm holding from 190, and I'm adding on the way. So that's the disclosure. So just for all the viewers, don't just jump in because I've named it, because I might be holding from different levels, and my thesis might change if there are any negative news, or if I feel that the growth will not come in future at any point of time, right? So these are the two high conviction bets as of now. Even NGL Finechem is a very interesting space. It's into animal API, and it's more like a peer of Sequent Scientific, doing all the right things. And they have also capex coming up, which is much more bigger than the existing fixed assets which they have. So I'm again hopeful that thesis of at least 2x earnings in 3 years it can very well deliver. In fact, I can see like 2 3x kind of earnings in next 5 years. So that is the thesis with which I'm holding. As you said, market is the slave of earnings, and you need to
Yes.
monitor where the earnings growth can come in your portfolio companies.
Well, absolutely. Well, on that note, I want to thank you, sir, for sharing all these wonderful insights with all our viewers. And it's always a pleasure having you with us and seeking all these tips and tricks that all the investors can actually approach the markets with to create massive wealth for their portfolios as well. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us on our show, Market Masterclass.
Thank you so much, Shakshi, for having me here. It's always pleasure to discuss all these ideas and my thoughts with a wider audience and your team. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Market Masterclass. But a whole lot of interesting content will be up for you on Money9. So for that, you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us via our social media handles, and also visit our website, money9.com. Many thanks for tuning in for now.